Justice. How you doing?
Morning. I'm doing very, very well. It's like around-ish Rose's birthday. I don't know for sure exactly what day, but I know it's around this time. So yesterday I bought her like a mix-in for her food, and
A
she
mix-in.
ate
Oh, okay, okay, I got it
it.
now.
Yeah, yeah, like it smells like cat food. It looks like wet food. It just goes in her
It's like
regular
hamburger
food.
helper
So
for pets.
exactly, yeah, yeah. You've hit the nail on the head.
Yummy.
She went nuts and then was like Thanksgiving tired all day. It was basically her best day.
Oh, that's funny. Uh, we let our cats, our little kittens, out in the backyard yesterday, and they were running around the
Ooh.
back garden like mad, jumping through all the long grass, and it kind of did the same. Came in and passed right out. It was awesome.
Do
So
you plan on raising your kittens to be independent outdoor cats like your other two cats, or do you think they'll be more sort of inside animals?
I've been thinking about trying to raise them as circus cats because I really need to make more income, passive income as I get older. So yeah.
I've been playing a clown game lately where the whole premise is the clown, he does pet tricks. So that's his employment, is that him, his dog, his rat, and his bird all
Oh,
do
I see.
little tricks. Yeah. There's a market for it. That's what I'm getting
Well,
at.
we
Yeah,
can get our
absolutely.
yeah. I can get my cat to like shake a paw right now. There's no like roll over, or lay down, or anything yet. The kittens, uh, I barely got them figured out that what a treat bag sounds like yet. So
Will you dress as a clown is really the question.
there's a lot of crossover answers to that, and my wife probably says no.
Oh, bummer. This morning, though,
Well, that's what
we've
happens
got.
when you've dated clowns in your past. You don't want to see them again now. But we'll just leave that where it is. So we're going to start off this morning with Border Patrol, hey? I know, I love leaving you there. We love these. It's good old shout out to the AVB podcast and to Border Patrol. This is a song about a friend.
One, two, one, two, three, four. I don't believe in heaven, but I know the devil's real. He's sitting at my table, his hands have touched my meal. He rummaged through my dresser and he's looking for a sign, but I can't tell you what it is he's hoping he will find. Saw him making coffee, I saw him feed my cat. I sometimes think his actions are more subtle than that. He's at the bar drinking, and I guess it serves me well, 'cause every drink's another minute I am not in hell. Got me a friend that he knows what I like, a friend for the darkness, a friend for the night. Got me a friend that he knows how to use me. I think I'm gonna let him till he finally consumes me. I saw him in the kitchen, he's sleeping in my room. He pays my family visits, my friends all know him too. He's on my couch, just smoking, here's the pipe I saw him use. And if I try to outrun him, he knows my every move. Got me a friend that he knows how to like, a friend through the darkness, a friend for the night. Got me a friend that he knows how to use me. I think I'm gonna let him till he finally consumes me. He's telling me there's no point in getting out of bed. He's the smoke, he's the liquor, he's playing with my head. It's clear he's gonna get me, but what's really hard to see is the one I call the devil, he ain't nobody but me. Got me a friend and he knows what I like, a friend for the darkness, a friend for the night. Got me a friend that he knows how to use me. I think I'm gonna let him. I'm probably gonna let him. I know I'm gonna let him. I want him to consume me. Ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh, ah.
and that was Song About a Friend. And always awesome to watch the Border Patrol video we did. And we missed them.
One of my favorites.
So enough of giving them the tears and love, and let's turn that right around to Shane. Hey, how you doing today?
Morning, guys. I'm doing great.
I see that you've been
I'm currently
banished to your vehicle. What the hell did you do wrong this weekend?
Well, I was actually in Staples getting a few things done, and then I looked at the time, so I had to hurry up and run out.
Oh shit! Really? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, in the vehicle. There you go. It's like the nice, quiet
Still go.
office place now. It's your little. We can see that you're parked, so we know legally at least we're doing stuff that's okay.
Yeah. I got the beautiful backdrop of Tecumseh Road behind me.
Yeah. Busy road. Yeah. So how have you been?
Been doing good. Been busy working on the new mural on Ottawa Street
Yeah.
behind Poplar Gallery.
Yeah, two of
Yeah,
them. Well, in two different places, obviously, but two of them in the last little while.
Yeah, I should finish up the second one this week.
That's very exciting. We, Six and I had the chance to pop by, sort of, and see how they're developing over this past weekend, which was the Uptown Ottawa Street Open Streets event. How did you find that? How did that all go for you?
There was a call out on Facebook looking for artists, and I think that was back in January, February. So I submitted a design or a few designs, and I didn't hear anything back. And then all this COVID stuff hit, and eventually Tracy reached out to me and said they're going to go ahead with the project, and just to be patient, and it just kind of started rolling from there.
Right on.
And this one, sorry, Justice was asking how this one and this mural went, or maybe it was even a glitch on my end. But so how did the mural this weekend go for you? Was that?
Oh, this weekend was pretty good. Like I said, started it on Friday and worked a bit on Saturday. It was just so hot out. So I think I was only there for about 3 or 4 hours,
Yeah.
and rushed over to Pressure Drop to catch the jerk chicken guy.
Oh, did you?
And then,
Yeah.
Yeah, we ended up making it there. And then I went back yesterday for a few hours to work on it.
Yeah, I stopped by on Saturday and we had a quick little chat. And you were at that point in time, you put the Caesar bug in my ear, and you were hoping that somebody would run down from the bourbon and bring you a Caesar. Did anybody do that?
No, but when I got home, I made sure I had a cold beer in the fridge.
Well, that's fair. That's fair.
Just good.
I know. I was thinking about putting that call out on on our page and just taking a picture and be like, "There's an artist that's really thirsty for a Caesar behind pot." And
Well, I guess I could have just packed a cooler full of beer. So
yeah, you're on private
Yeah,
property
we did
there.
nothing
I mean, that's the good thing. And you weren't in a lift, so.
yeah, exactly. But I was up on a ladder, so.
So, aside from how many murals have you done thus far? And then we'll kind of roll back and we'll talk about what you kind of do on the daily and the designing.
The past year, it's been 5 murals, 3 in Ford City, and then the 2 on Ottawa Street. So the Ford City one, it's right on Ford City Financial. It's Rosie the Riveter, and it says Ford City Strong.
Yep.
And then the other one I did is kitty corner to Grand Cantina, but in the alley. It's Dr. Frankenstein's Monster, and it says Don't Be Afraid of Droulard.
Yes.
And then the latest one I did was on, I think it's Motoburger that owns the building. It's like an old brown building. It's been boarded up, and I drive by it every day.
Yeah.
So I asked Shane Potvin from the Ford City BIA, who owns the building, and he put me in touch with him. And I just asked the guy, can I paint this building? You know, because it's just an ugly brown.
Yeah.
And he said, go ahead. And originally that was going to be the Andy Warhol one, but he wanted something positive and something for the community, so I did the Beatles, All You Need Is Love.
Mm-hmm. So
Those were the 3.
that's a lot over the last year, eh?
Yeah, kind of just getting back into it, because I haven't done anything for years as far as like murals go. Like me and you were talking, like kind of been 20 years since I've actually like focused on art.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of got out of it for a long period of time. They've done other things creative, was in a band. I mean, we weren't that good, but we were in a band.
Well, as long as you're doing. And then Merch Runners is your other.
Yeah, that's our business, me and my partner, Joe Morno.
Yep.
And that's been going on for 7 years. Started in 2013. And I moved back to Windsor. Me and him were talking about it. And we both had $1,000. We're like, well, let's start it. And that's pretty much how it went. And it's on the corner of Tecumseh, just a small little shop. So we're there for 4 years, and then we kind of outgrew that. I don't know if you ever were in that spot, but it was just tiny, and it was just it was a sauna. Like there was no windows, and had one door, so that was like our air. That was it.
It was a full-on jail.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it literally was a sweatshop.
Yeah.
Oof.
And then we heard we were doing the Ford City markets. Randy approached us. I think he was putting it on, and so we started doing that and get to know the community. And we, myself and Joe, grew up in that area, and so we started getting to know the people, and it seemed like there was a good buzz going on. There was a few other businesses open up, and so we went and checked out a few spots, and that's how we ended up on Drillard Road.
How did you? How has the little shift, the COVID shift, the COVID speed bump worked out for you guys over at Merch Runners? How has it affected you?
Surprisingly, we're still busy. It's just a change in a few things. Like normally we do a lot of custom shirts for events, but a lot of those events have been canceled. But surprisingly, a lot of construction companies have come through and requested shirts because they kept going.
Yeah.
And the other thing is we were shut down for a few months. And to be honest with you, it was nice because that gave me a chance to focus on art. It was just almost like a much needed break and gave us a chance to kind of refocus and figure things out.
Yeah.
And we opened up a few months back, and it's been going pretty good since. We've reduced our hours. We used to do Monday to Saturday, but now it's just Tuesday to Friday, and which is kind of good for us because Saturdays were kind of hit and miss. We'd end up sitting there for 4 hours doing nothing, or sometimes you get 2 or 3 people that walk in. So it's kind of nice to have the weekends off during the warm season.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
during those few months where you weren't at Merch Runners, how did you find that your like creative process had changed or evolved, or how was that process for you?
One thing I found is it was actually better because when I'm working full time at Merch Runners, by the time you get home, it's like you just don't feel like doing anything. So now I had that free time. Like I wasn't rushed. There wasn't a deadline. It's okay, I can work on this, work on that, and went and did a few markets. Actually did the Kensington Market Art Fair up in Toronto.
Ooh.
And so it was nice to get out of the city. I mean, there was like quite a few restrictions, but it was still good.
That's crazy. How do you find that really worked out for you, kind of getting your name out there? I mean, it's a little bit like anything, like a band, or I mean, we've chatted with Dan or other artists, and you kind of got to go and sprinkle your name around. You think that helped out a little bit?
Oh yeah, it definitely helped out. I met a few new people, and like I lived in Toronto for a while, so it was nice to be back in that area. Like I love Kensington Market.
It's a wonderful spot.
Oh yeah, it's just so creative and just different than everything else. It's like its own little hub.
You kind of got that over on Drillard though as well. I mean, you guys are really trying to build that area up. I mean, you're a big part of that in with quite a few of the people in the BIA right there. Yeah,
that's what I like about Drillard too. It's like we can almost do our own thing there without being bothered.
Yeah. Yep. I want to talk a little bit about the inspiration for you. I mean, it's kind of a little bit of a geekery thing, but I mean, obviously your work is a little bit more kind of pop inspired, but there's sometimes a twist on it. And, kind of what is that when we get into some of your process and you're getting back to that art and that creating, give us a little bit of like, maybe 2 inspirations that you kind of go to, be it people or places for inspiration, and then, how you kind of twist that inspiration and why that's important to your work.
Definitely place would be Detroit. Before the COVID stuff, they're over there all the time. And I just love the fact that there's art everywhere and you can go anywhere, walk anywhere and see art. Like it doesn't cost a thing.
Yeah.
Basically, we load up the backpack with beers and just kind of venture out and see where we end up. And love the murals and the market festival that they have over there. I thought that would be great to have over here in Windsor. And seems like the Drop Down Drillard Festival is kind of similar to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just love going over to Detroit and just find being around there, the energy, the vibe, just bringing that back and just makes me want to work on something.
And then the twisting of that inspiration, what is, there's, is there a kind of root to that twist? Is there a different way that you kind of want to put a spin on things?
It's just fine. Like, like I'll see certain things and think, okay, I want to do something similar, or I'll see, a certain color combination, that will kind of spark something, you know. It could be just like a sign or something, and it's just like, oh, I like those colors. Okay, I want to do something with that. And then, like, far as the like inspirations as people go, like I love Andy Warhol stuff just because I'm a screen printer. Been doing it for 25 years, and so I like to incorporate aerosol screen printing and stenciling all together.
Have go for it, Justice.
Adrian is in the chat watching. Hello, Adrian. How are you? And he asks, do you think Drouillard will ever be like Kensington? And I'm not exactly sure what, like, in what way, but what is that, like, what does that question make you think?
That's kind of like my hopes. That was like the vision I saw 4 years ago when we moved there, that it could be, because it's its own little community.
Yeah.
Still needs some work. Like there's a lot of negativity still towards it. But like in the 4 years we've been there, there's never, ever been a problem. No one's ever tried to break in. No one's ever stolen. I just think it has that bad reputation still. But until you come down there, then you realize, like, oh my God, there's a lot of stuff going on and how nice it is. And we also found with the Drop Down Drouillard Festival that's been going on the past few years, we've had a lot of people come in and just say, oh, you know, I never knew this was here. Or I never knew the neighborhood was like this now. Yeah. There's a lot of people trying to make it better.
Yeah, there's been
it's very
quite a
there
shift.
is like a lot going on. I spent a little bit of time at the community garden there, and even just that little lot is really quite something, and gives the area just so much like energy and character.
Yeah, like since we moved there, Grand Cantina's open, Pressure Drop's open. There's a few more I can't think of, but there's a few of the buildings have gotten bought up and renovated, and like they're ready to go. So it's definitely a change happening. It's just taken a little bit longer, and it's just a matter of getting the people down there as a destination.
Yeah.
Instead of just driving through from Riverside to Tecumseh Road.
Yeah, or only going to the old staple, which is the Border City Boxing Club, right? I mean, like that was for a while. It felt like that was the only thing that was out there. There wasn't a whole lot, and it is, you know, having lived in other areas as well. Like I've lived in Vancouver, and I look at places like East Van and those places where you it's the catch-22, right? You want them to get to that stage of Kensington Market, and then when they get to that stage of Kensington Market, you kind of love the days when you used to be able to sit out on your really kind of quiet sidewalk and enjoy the time with your other business friends. So, you know, I really, when I had moved back to the city, I looked at that area, or I did look at that area with my wife, and, you know, we thought about moving into that area as well. I would love to see those areas kind of build up. But it also feels like there's a few areas in Windsor that also feel the same, and we get a little bit of that, the vacuum happening because of population either going away or wanting to live in little other areas, right? I want to live in Maidstone, or I want to live out in Colchester or Harrow or Leamington. And I think that some of these areas that actually have a great heartbeat and a really great culture and a really great kind of art, like supportive art scene, sometimes get looked over because we don't reach that critical point or that tipping point of having enough kind of population that want to come out. For instance, on a frickin' Saturday, you know, in the nice days of the year, it's like Justice and I do stuff with the Ottawa Street BIA, which is why we were talking about your mural and kind of bringing it all back around. And, you know, when they were doing open streets, my wife and I had talked like, why is this not open on Sunday? And, you know, a lot of people are like, well, there's not a lot of people that want to come out on Sundays. And it's like, well, this is also the catch-22. You don't open on a Sunday, they're not going to want to come out on a Sunday. But, you know, areas like Ottawa Street have a pretty large sidewalk base. Now we've noticed a lot more cafes that are kind of, you know, art showing cafes as well, little sandwich shops. So I'm interested to see even the shift that's happening on Ottawa Street since the last 4 years or 5 years that I've been here, because right now I'm even noticing, you know, quite a shift in that. And I love these ideas that these little neighborhoods can actually get up, survive, create community, create culture, and hopefully bring, you know, breathe some life back into the city. I
was actually surprised when I walked down Ottawa Street how many shops are there and how busy it was. Like during the day, there's a lot of people walking around. And I kind of missed that. Like when I was living in Toronto, I didn't drive. So I walked everywhere, and then walking, discover all these small little shops. You're like, oh wow, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Just need more people to just kind of walk around and check everything out.
Okay, so let's do this. Let's do this. This mentality of walking in our city is crazy. I mean, cycling is way progressive. Adrian, he says Drouillard is the most underrated place in winter. If I was at your place on Drouillard, how long would it take me to walk to Chapter 2?
Literally 10 minutes.
Tops.
Oh, yeah.
Tops. And then from Chapter 2 to walk to Walkerville for another brewery.
There's another 10 minutes.
Maybe. Now,
yeah.
These are things that in a larger city, those tiny connections between these communities happen, and people, kind of flow between them. And I feel like sometimes that thing that we want to be able to go and park, and we want to be able to go and do this. We don't walk around the community. People don't walk up and down Drouillard to see what's at one end and what's the other.
Right.
They're more than likely to drive to Grand Cantina and then drive back to a point. So it's
a cultural thing. Right?
It's a cultural thing, right?
The city was built because of automotive manufacturing. I don't know. I hear you, but growing up in Toronto, a 10-minute walk in Toronto is a much different experience than a 10-minute walk here.
Right.
When you're walking through Toronto, walking through Kensington Market, right, there are things around to look at and to see. But I can tell you the walk from, Grand Cantina to Chapter 2 is probably a lot of desolate stretches. And then from Chapter 2 to Walkerville, again, there's some, desolate stretches where it's, you just feel the slog differently. Where do you start with that, right? Where do you start trying to fix, how do you encourage walking in a city that was built for driving?
Yeah, that's a tough one.
This is a question for a whole other podcast. Yeah. Really, that is kind of the point. How do we get people to start enjoying those neighborhoods and realizing they're there? I think, and here's a little nod to, again, why we started this and what we're seeing as maybe a shift happening is that Pressure Drop is doing, a little bit of promotion with Grand Cantina, who is also doing, promotion with Slices, who is, right. Now doing promotion with Craft Heads. And, you guys are all now wanting to talk about each other to build that community. And the need for that is, right now, it's a necessity. It is a necessity that everybody is actually talking about everybody else's business and trying to bolster it up. And I think that might be one of the things that's going to help push us into a little bit more of that positive direction where, let's just say, and I'm throwing this out, you buy a shirt here, you can go over to Pressure Drop or down to Grand Cantina and, grab a shot on us. We've got, that tab there. It's these sorts of things that happened in Toronto as well a long time ago, or in cities like Vancouver. Once you buy something here, you can go over there. And now they're this has forced us to look at that sort of stuff. We see it happening on Ottawa. We see it happening on Drouillard. I guess I'm just kind of giving some credit to everybody that's doing some work together to get through this.
That's what I liked about Drouillard too is the events that we've had. We held an art show at Pressure Drop. It was a SoCal-based art show, surfing, skating.
Yep.
We put on a fashion show at the Water's Edge down at the end of Drouillard, and we had Grand Cantina there doing their tacos.
Yeah.
So it's whenever we do something, we try to involve someone else. We have standard printing right next to us, so we go next door, get our business cards. Someone needs T-shirts done, they send them over our way. So it's a nice little community. Yeah.
Yeah, I think a few things that all these little communities are lacking in is little tiny green grocers, a place that I can go and grab a couple things, to make my own little sandwiches or lunches and stuff like that. And then you would have a bit more of a thriving community because you're like you say, there's a lot of things to do on Drouillard. Once we make it take even a bit more holistic approach or other businesses kind of come in there, we're even going to see that blow up more.
I find too, opening up a business in the city, it's kind of risky, wondering if the people are going to come. Am I going to be able to survive? But on the plus side, we were able to open up with $2,000. If we tried that in Toronto, we wouldn't even be able to pay first month's rent.
You're right.
Let alone get our stock and all the other stuff.
Yeah, the level of risk to entrance is a lot lower here, which gives a chance for people to try some more interesting things. Justice and I are in exactly that same situation where, you know, we don't production studios or even studios, they exist in the city. They're hidden right now, but you know, a lot of us are trying to figure out how to move back into that sort of thing. But you know, there's a lot less risk in starting something, you know, in a city like this too, where the communities are pretty tight. They're, you know, even though Justice has come from Toronto, it's pretty interesting to see how her social circles already kind of overlap my social circles, even though I'm 47 and she's like, you know, maybe a little younger than that. You know, so it's a small city, and there's a lot of people that are out to support. And now I think that shift is happening more and more.
We have
you got
a couple
it?
more comments here that I think, absolutely, I think are worth addressing. The first one is from Max Reed, who says, our artists in the city work well together. These guys kick ass for the city, which is just very true and very apt. The community, the art community in Windsor was one of the sort of cementing factors into why when I moved here, I wanted to stay. And then Adrian asks, do you think it's because of the population? I wish Windsor introduced a shipping port to bring tourism into Windsor.
I definitely think population has something to do with it. We're so spread out too.
Yeah.
It's like you said, there's a lot of empty areas, and then there's a cluster of people in another empty area, and but like whereas other cities, there's thousands of people in the one area.
Yeah, I think
there's always like that negative attitude, like there's never anything to do in Windsor, but there's a lot of things to do, and if there's something you want to do, then you put on the event, make it happen.
Yeah, there's that.
Sorry, go ahead.
Justice and I were in at a kind of town hall or a little council meeting, not a council, a little kind of meeting at Show Studios where they had some city planners from Toronto. And, you know, to Adrian's point about having some sort of port, I think that's, you know, bringing in the tourism and having them stop here that's pretty awesome. But we have a railway that sits literally at the base of Ottawa, at Walkerville, right where Hiram Walker's is, which is literally a 15-minute walk from where you guys are at. But a bit of the problem is if you're a traveler and you're coming into Windsor, you get dumped off in this cavern of red brick buildings in the heart of Walkerville, and there doesn't look like there is anything around. The city planning kind of here at the point in time when stuff like that was built, I guess they didn't think about bringing it another block or two further, which would have dumped it right out at the base of things like Devonshire, where you can actually see the Renaissance or the GM building or whatever you want to say. You're going to be able to see the downtown of Toronto. Where am I? Detroit. Yeah, there. You're going to be able to see that downtown right from getting off of the train. I think that things like our design or the city's planning sometimes lacks in the foresight of what it's like to be a tourist coming to a city that apparently has nothing, but we do have a lot to offer. So how do we get people there, and how do we, I guess, shift a lot of that money? I mean, to make sure that people are getting there. The drive-in from the 401 is no fucking spectacular drive downtown either, you know?
No, not at all.
You know, so there's a few kind of, I think, city design things and geographic things that we've put into our way, you know, in making the city really welcoming. But man, when you get in here and you realize what there is to do, it is areas like Drouillard. It's people like, you know, Eyes on Windsor. You know, even back in the day when it was Windsor Independent or it was Room magazine, there were people here that were talking about this undercurrent, and you know, hopefully that is now going to be more loudly spoke about, because we have to move more hyper local. We have to start, you know, supporting the people that are right here, right in our neighborhood, because that's what's going to keep us going. So
sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, it was nice to go downtown when they had the extended patios, and there was actually people all over the place. And then walking around the corner to Fog, where they had the patio, and people playing jazz. I think I said I saw you there.
Yep.
And it was just nice to see people out and actually enjoying the city, the downtown area. It was almost like how it used to be.
Yeah, Yeah, or how it just should be. We shouldn't have to huddle all in all these buildings in the dark
In the summer.
in the summer to see
Right.
all this happen. And I think that, you know, this is a great way for the city planning people, and then even people that are there influencing those city planners to take advantage of some of this and to really, you know, shine light on how we can do this differently within the city. You know, we're kind of coming up to the end of this. I want to thank you for helping us make part of this city better, which is, you know, getting into the alleyways, doing the murals, and expanding as an artist. There goes my light. Expanding as an artist again, or getting back into it. And for having a thing like Merch Runners, which, you know, when the AVB was going on, you supported that podcast and you clothed all of us, which when we saw you in the alley, my daughter was wearing an old 519 Originals like graffiti shirt, and, you know, they're worn well in our household.
You still have the Rose City one that looks like the RC Cola.
Oh yes, yeah, I do. Yep, the gray
Yeah,
one.
I don't have one of those either.
I know. Maybe I'll be that like weird little archive. I bet you AJ has got a huge archive of shirts too.
Yeah, for sure.
We all collected for quite a while. So what we kind of like to finish off on in the podcast is, and a little bit of this is kind of been chatted about. What are you doing maybe on a daily basis? What are you getting in the practice of to help you stay positive and push forward through everything that is going on?
Just a matter of being grateful for what I got, you know, things that I have in life. And usually I just like to get up in the morning, just have a cup of coffee, sit outside, it's quiet, you know, listen to the birds, just relax, kind of energize myself for the day. Then usually from that, I'll just kind of scroll through Instagram, catch up on what's happening. Then, it's usually off to work and away we go.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, that's awesome. Good way to start a day too.
Yeah.
That's I'm just looking. Adrian's like, please do some art in the whiff area. Man, Adrian's drank a lot of coffee and he's on the comments today. It's awesome. Jaworski.
I definitely love to.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being on. I will make sure that we travel around into the area of Drouillard now, since streets are, you know, kind of open a bit more, or the shops are open, and we'll say hi.
All right, thanks for having me.
All right.
Anytime, and thank you to everybody who tuned in today.
See you tomorrow.
See you around.
All right, take care, guys.